Hi, I'm NASA Administrator Charlie Bolden. I'm honored to be a part of American Graduate Day. Talking with students and teachers is one of my favorite things to do. My parents were both lifelong educators, so my passion for education is part of my DNA. They told me that to be successful, I had to work hard in school, and they were absolutely right. As an astronaut who flew to space 4 times, I had to be comfortable with a lot of technical knowledge to pilot the space shuttle and help with experiments in deploying satellites. I also relied on my crewmates' depth of knowledge in science, technology, engineering and mathematics, or STEM. Staying in school and graduating is essential to anything else you want to do. I've been fortunate to meet students from around the world, and they're all passionate about our planet's future and the role they can play in making it better. Today's students are the space generation, and many of them have never known a time when humans have not been living and working in space. We're on a journey to Mars, and somewhere today, the first human to step foot on the red planet is studying in the STEM fields. In one of today's college classrooms are the future engineers who will design and build technologies that turn science fiction into science fact. In a laboratory, future scientists are learning to collect and analyze data from the amazing fleet of Earth observation satellites orbiting our planet every day. They'll help us address climate change, which is one of this generation's most pressing challenges. All of these people will take their knowledge and apply it to making new discoveries and also improving life for everyone on the planet. We need men and women and people of color and all different types of backgrounds. It is absolutely essential that we train these new STEM leaders. Your generation is going to take what people of my generation started and make it your own. You're going to do things that we haven't even considered yet. As the space generation, you'll help our nation make its next giant leap into deep space exploration. So dream big dreams, work hard, and take advantage of your mentors in school. There's a place for you when you graduate, and we need you. We welcome you to our journey of exploration.
Inspiring and true message, and you're looking at a live shot right now of the control room, all the people at American Graduate Day who are helping make this program today possible. And by the way, thanks to you, this program is now trending on Twitter. It's #AmGrad if you want to jump in on the conversation. But such an inspiring message from NASA 53 years ago. President Kennedy said, "We choose to go to the moon not because it's easy, but because it is hard." It's also pretty exciting. Welcome back to American Graduate Day. I'm Rebecca Jarvis, and as we just heard from the Chief Administrator of NASA, the roadmap to the future is being written with science, technology, engineering, and math. Add an A for art, and you have STEAM. That is what this next hour is all about. STEAM is also powering our next group, the nation's largest youth development organization, engaging more than 5 million young people across the U.S. with programs ranging from mentoring to science to civic-based programs, 4-H clubs, camps, after-school, and enrichment programs prepare members for the challenges of today to be leaders of tomorrow. And I'm so happy to have with us today, representing this great organization from 4-H, Jamila Simon and Nosa Sokol, the 4-H National Youth in Action Award winner from Binghamton, New York. And it's so nice to have both of you with us. Welcome.
Thank you. We're glad to be here.
We're thrilled to have you here because you both have incredible stories, and I want to dive right into them because you met with Citizen U. That's when you initially came in contact.
Yes,
Tell me about that.
About meeting her?
Yes, it was a great experience right off the bat.
Oh yeah, she was a very lovely person, and I knew that from the moment that I met her, we would be working and seeing each other more often. And I'm just really glad to have her as someone in my life to be able to mentor me and kind of have her as an advisor in what things I should do and what things I shouldn't do and what things I should be involved in.
I've seen her for a few seconds here, and it already strikes me that Nosa seems like a sponge, somebody who would really be ready for anything and prepared and excited about everything.
Absolutely. When Nosa and I first met, we were working on a cover letter and resume writing workshop, and it was really incredible because she had a very quiet leadership, and so she was working one-on-one with her peers, just quietly working away to make sure that they got their stuff done. And it was
It really resonated with me, and I remember saying to myself, note to self, she has a really quiet leadership, and I can't wait to help her to blossom.
Did you feel that quiet leadership? Did you know? What was the first conversation with Jamila where you started to see that in yourself?
I don't really remember what my first conversation was, but I definitely remember being really quiet. I think I was really quiet all throughout my school years up until my junior year of school. So, yeah.
You have a very interesting backstory, which started a long way from here.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, I'm originally from South Sudan, and my parents emigrated here 11 years ago because, as you know, there's a civil war going on. And so as any parent would want, they wanted to better our future, give us a good education, and make us just happy.
And how was that transition initially into school for you?
I remember crying a lot the first day that I had to go on a bus because I didn't know where they were sending me. And when I ran into a teacher, she actually told me how I actually knocked her over on the first day of school. And I don't remember this, but I think it was an interesting first day.
So you coming into NOSA's life was a game changer.
I think that the program Citizen U was a game changer. You know, we focus a lot on mentoring relationships and developmental relationships with youth. And so it's really about that caring adult and being able to find that spark. So 4-H is all about finding that spark of interest. And I think for NOSA, she found that pretty early on in her career.
What was it that originally drew you to the program to be a participant in the way that you are?
I think for me, I was a part of a youth development organization as a young person, and so it was really important for me to be able to give back to other young people and other organizations so that we could help young people to find their spark and set them on a trajectory so that they could thrive.
And it's so interesting. This trajectory could not be more important. It could not be more timely at a moment like this in our history. STEAM, all of the opportunities, the best paying jobs out there, the best paying opportunities for anyone happen to be in most of these fields. And you want to go into that field now.
Yes, I do.
What are you hoping for?
I'm hoping to study international agriculture and rural development, and then I have like a major concentration in public health. I don't know, I just kind of want to travel and provide food security for people.
Food security?
Yes.
And you want to do that through science?
Yes.
Tell us about that. I hear it's, I was talking to the producers before this segment, and they could not be more excited about what you're planning on doing in that field.
Well, I want to try to find a way to turn agriculture into a sort of business for women in developing countries because they are the ones who are handling food and they're the ones that are the providers for the food. So I felt like if they were able to find a way to take what they already know and turn it into a business to find financial stability, then that would eventually help the entire country as a whole.
This thing that you're talking about, this mentality that you've now gained through this program, do you think there's any way that you would have thought like this if not for Citizen U, if not for 4-H?
Absolutely not. I think before I entered 4-H, I kind of thought agriculture was just about farming and farmers and tractors. But after getting involved in the World Food Prize and Citizen U, I kind of learned that there's so many paths that I can take through agriculture, and that I don't necessarily have to be a farmer. I can make people aware of the issues that we face, make people aware that there are food securities all around the world, even in the U.S., and hope that people will be inspired and get involved as well.
Are you coming across people like NOSA every day? I can imagine there are some very impressive people, maybe not as impressive as NOSA in the program.
Every single day we work with educators around New York State, we work with volunteers, we work with parents, and we work with young people. And so I have an incredible job, obviously because of relationships that I have with young people, but also because we really get to affect change over the long term.
Well, Jamila, thank you to people like you and NOSA. The world is a better place, and the future is in much better hands. We really appreciate it. Thanks so much to both of you. Well, it's been a real pleasure today. And from food to farms to future leaders, 4-H clubs are educating students in STEAM and life to become trailblazers toward tomorrow. NOSA's Pothole Project involves GPS, which just happens to be the name of the group headed up by our next champion. She turned her classroom into a fun place, a laboratory that appeals to some very young female students with an interest that is, shall we say, cosmetic.
My name is Jacqueline Thomas, and I'm the founder of Girls Pursuing Science.
How much of Q-Pearl you want to put in? The first product we're going to do is body wash.
Girls Pursuing Science is a STEAM enrichment program, and STEAM is an acronym for science, technology, engineering, arts, and math.
I'm putting my decimal right here.
The program is designed to introduce pre-chemistry and pre-algebra as early as 4th, 5th grade.
We're learning how to make perfume, lip gloss, lipstick, and a body scrub.
No, we do cosmetic chemistry. I feel like I'm walking into a spa party of some kind. So, we're learning and laughing. We're having fun. And, don't tell them, but they're learning chemistry.
I like that she teaching us stuff about science, but in a fun way.
As soon as I go in the store and I open it up, woo!
I rely a lot on the PBS kids and the different STEM programs that they have online and the curriculum. They have just a full STEM and STEAM curriculum, all the projects there. So before class, I would always show the project first and get them all excited that this is what we're going to make. And I do that through PBS. I'm very proud of the young ladies that we have served and the lives that we have made a difference in.
It's all about making it relevant, making it tangible. Well, as you probably know, STEAM studies also include the arts, which is very important to helping to encourage students' creativity and important to scientific inquiry. Our next live remote is about Mississippi Alliance for Arts Education, which comes from our friends at MPB in Mississippi, and we're going to check in now with Desiree Frazier.
Thanks, Rebecca. Welcome to American Graduate Day. I'm Desiree Frazier. We want to tell you about an outstanding arts program here in Mississippi that's impacting the lives of young people in a positive way and also helping them stay on track to graduate. The goal of the award-winning Wings Performing Arts program at the Lynn Meadow Discovery Center in Gulfport, Mississippi, is to help youth develop their talents and spirits through music, dance, and theater, and prepare them for the real world. In August, the group performed Remembrance, a play about World War I at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. They've also performed at the World War II Museum in New Orleans and at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. Students must make a pact with the program to keep their grades up. If they don't, they can't participate. Well, joining us now are Tanya Hayes, director of the Wings Performing Arts Program, and Brandon Spann, a student in the program who attends Gulfport High School. Thank you for being a part of American Graduate Day.
Thank you.
Now, Tanya, you started this program 17 years ago. Why did you want to get involved with youth?
It was always my dream to run a theater for youth program. Ever since I was a little girl, this is what I wanted to do. So I see myself as being very blessed to be able to do this. I think theater is a transcending and transforming art form that engages all different types of learning, science, technology, math, everything. And our program is about nurturing spirits and talent and leadership. We're about creating better people, not just better performers. And I saw this as a path where the process is just as important as the product, and that the journey equal destination for young people.
Tell us about the commitment they have to make to their grades in order to be eligible to participate in the program.
Well, when we meet with our families at the beginning of the year, we say to everybody, school comes first. They have to sign a contract with their parent that states what grade level they will maintain to stay in the program. And that's a private matter between the parent and the child because there are different expectations in different families. And we let them know if mom or dad says you need to bow out for a while because these grades are poor, then we'll back their parents.
All right. Brandon, you've been in this program for some years now. Tell us about your passion for the theater.
Well, it all started back in 2011. It was a partnership between Wings and the Boys and Girls Club. I had performed in my first play, which was Cinderella. I performed as the king. And being up on that stage for the first time, I felt very proud because I had done something that I never thought I would be able to do. And I felt a sense of accomplishment. And I feel that same feeling every time I perform. And from that point on, I knew this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I'm in love with this.
All right. Well, let's take a look at Brandon on stage.
Who sing the anthems and who tell the stories? Will the line hold? Will it scatter and run? Shall we at last be united in glory? Only remembered for what we have done. Only remembered for what what we have done. Thus shall we pass from this earth and its toiling, only remembered for what we have done. Only remembered for what we have done.
Brandon, describe what it's been like to make a commitment to keep up your grades in order to participate in this theater program.
Well, how I look at it is school is where it starts. You have to do successfully in school in order to be as successful as you want to be in life. So signing that contract between me and my mom, that made it official because I put my signature down on that paper, which means I had to commit to keeping up in school in order to do what I love to do through the Wings program. And I think I've been doing pretty well with that over the years.
All right, well, now you are a senior.
Yes.
What are your plans for the future?
Well, after high school, I want to attend a school called AMDA in Los Angeles. I actually have my audition coming up for that at the end of this month. So I'm hoping to get into that. And they center around the performing arts and widening the knowledges and teaching better things about the performing arts. And I hope to get into that.
Well, we wish you all the best with that. Now, Tanya, this program is recognized by the Mississippi Alliance for Arts and Education, and it's so successful on stage in keeping youth in school that it's spreading to other counties. That's a great testament to what you're doing.
Right. I just got to do a teaching artist fellowship with MAAE in Stone County at the high school. And just seeing those students, the light go on when they were working with literature and performing pieces. And the arts engage us and our path to success for students, but it also broadens our empathy with the world. For instance, with Remembrance, when we performed that for veterans, I think the kids understood really what they had. You know, they knew that they were telling a story that was so important. And when those veterans came up to them and with tears in their eyes and thank them for the tribute they'd done, they realized what they'd done.
And also what you have done is made it so popular that school officials call you when students are struggling. Right,
they'll call and say, so-and-so's in the Wings program, and we know they're involved with you. How can you help us help them get through school or a difficult subject? And we have some of our other students tutoring students. We also are called if a student has a gift and they feel like they could channel and find their passion through our program.
It's wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Tanya Hayes and Brandon Spann, for being with us. It's American Graduate Day. We encourage you to get involved, be a volunteer, be a mentor, and help young people stay on track to graduate high school. Rebecca, back to you.
Well said. Thank you so much, Desiree Frazier, and thank you, MPB in Mississippi. Well, the creative power of the arts helps energize the minds of students and scientists alike. In our next story from NBC Education Nation, my American Graduate Day colleague, Rahima Ellis, keeps the STEAM theme rolling with a story about a clever blend of engineering, the arts, and youthful ingenuity.
Okay. It looks like skateboard camp, but this isn't about the tricks they're learning. It's about the custom-made boards they're holding.
We get to make our own designs.
Products of their own imagination and kid power.
The power drill is awesome.
At a day camp run by construction kids in the Brooklyn section of New York, kids 2 to 12 years old learn how to build things from scratch. Each week, a different project.
It's actually pretty hard to get the snail out.
And lessons in perseverance.
What was it like holding that drill in your hand?
It's really heavy. To tighten it this way.
The hands-on classes are offered year-round.
This one?
Kids design, build, and bring their projects to life.
Our motto is old school tools for new school learning.
Deb Windsor, a woodworker, came up with the idea 6 years ago after giving a woodworking class to her 4-year-old son's pre-K class. Since then, more than 15,000 kids have participated.
Are they going in?
Nationwide, similar programs are offering kids an alternative to video games.
It's not just the learning how to use tools. The broader part of this is that children are being encouraged to experiment.
This is one construction project where no experience is required and almost any kid can do it.
One washer, and then the wheel, and then another washer.
8-year-old Maya Graves is legally blind.
You're not having any problems, are you?
I'm not having any problems.
Doesn't really go anywhere, does
Nope.
it?
Parents hope building is a way for children to learn by doing.
Long term, and it'll always benefit all of us to
can help build stuff at the house, right?
A win for parents
Riding a skateboard.
and especially the kids.
That's my favorite part.
Rahima Ellis, NBC News, New York.
Well, as Rahima just uncovered, the education toolbox is filled with a bunch of those old school devices, and they're teaching a lot of great new school lessons. Well, we've been discussing how education and science benefits from the arts, and now we're going to meet a group that uses the arts to educate science, technology, and engineering while also teaching some very important history lessons. Lauren Wanko is now standing by with a very special addition to the American Graduate Day family. She is inside the John Lennon Educational Tour Bus. Hi, Lauren.
Hi, and I'm with Executive Director Brian Rothschild. Brian, tell us a little bit more about the bus.
Yeah, it's great to be here. The Lennon Bus has been around for 18 years now, and it's dedicated to providing young people with free, hands-on opportunities to create original music, video, live stream, all kinds of digital media projects.
Well, let's go for a little tour. Tell me what we're looking at here.
Well, we're in the front studio of the bus. It's really dedicated to video production, and as we're walking back here, we'll see the middle studio, which is really where the audio production takes place. So in the course of a single day, students will come on board and create an original music, video, short film, or documentary project.
They're not doing this all by themselves. They have some help, right?
Yep, we have 3 engineers who live on board the Lennon Bus. They sleep on board, the bunks are in the back, and they're really the angels who deliver the very special magic that is the Lennon Bus.
You have instruments here, high-tech equipment. How do you keep up with it all? Technology is always changing.
Well, of course, the Lennon Bus wouldn't be possible without all the amazing sponsors. We have incredible Canon cameras, Yamaha keyboards and drums. All of our computers are provided by Apple. So it's really a joint effort. The companies that are involved really believe in the power of education.
You travel all over the country. What are the advantages of being mobile?
Well, of course, so many communities don't have the resources that the Lennon Bus has. So it's designed to provide teachers and students with inspiration, really.
Do you have kids who, before they hop on this bus, say, Brian, there's no way I can do this. I've never done this before. Turn something around in a single day, and then they hop off the bus amazed at what they've accomplished?
That's really what it's for. It's about that inspiration, because you may never have played drums or strummed a guitar, heard yourself on a microphone, or taken photos, but when you're on the Lennon Bus, you can do it.
How does it feel for you guys to be creating rock stars to be?
Well, the real focus is on providing these kids with skills that are applicable to all kinds of career paths. So, of course, it's exciting to inspire, and having John Lennon's name on it is really more than anybody could ask.
And quickly tell us, where's the bus going to next?
Well, we're honoring John Lennon's 75th birthday. It would have been 75 next Friday, October 9th. So we want everybody to join us in Central Park with Yoko Ono to create the world's largest human peace sign. So anybody in the audience should go to lennonbus.org and sign up and join us.
How do you think Little Kids Rock is doing right now on your bus?
Oh, they're an incredible, amazing organization. We've worked with them many, many times.
All right, well, we're going to keep hanging on the bus and listening to this because I'm having a great time. I don't know about you.
Right, fantastic. Thank you so much.
Let's listen up.
Continuing this hour devoted to STEAM education, we visited with one of the world's preeminent science centers, the American Museum of Natural History here in New York. I'm Hari Srinivasan. Founded in 1869, the museum has wowed children for years with their impressive collection that includes dinosaur fossils, meteorites, and an enormous blue whale. Behind the scenes, this cultural institution has also developed educational programs that allow New York City school students to perform real hands-on research alongside some of the country's leading scientists.
The American Museum of Natural History has an integrated mission of scientific research and education that manifests itself in a variety of ways.
This one is pretty exciting, I think. I see a hand. Do you have a question?
A field trip to the American Museum of Natural History is the most fun trip that anybody can take, because you take one step and you're in Africa, and you take another step and you're in China, and you take a third step and you're in the Hall of Human Origins, where you've been transported back to the times of Neanderthals and further.
So, raise your hand if you know what part this is.
From the very beginning, the museum was chartered, actually, by the New York State Regents as an educational institution. So along with scientific research, this has always been part of our mission and our raison d'etre.
I attended a Science and Nature program here at the American Museum of Natural History, and it was at the age of 5. And my mom was the one that actually pushed me to come here. I didn't like science at all when I was little, but I didn't really know what science was.
Here at the American Museum of Natural History, our out-of-school time programs range from preschool all the way to college and into graduate school. And while all of these programs are unique and work with young people in different ways, they all really contribute to one big picture. And that one big picture is engagement and deepening of interest across the board in the sciences covered here at the Museum of Natural History.
What do we got going on here? Is this your sequence alignment? My job is to oversee our science research mentoring program, which we call SHRIMP for short. And they receive 2 weeks of instruction here at the museum in classes co-taught by our educators and our scientists. These classes cover statistics, computational science, and molecular lab skills.
At the SHRIMP program, I studied the black-legged ticks, and our purpose was to see their biographical distribution within the United States.
Marie, can you describe what you're seeing under the microscope?
I see the female and male Ixoris scapularis, the black-legged tick, and I see the female tick with the eggs.
And what type of species would these guys feed on?
They will feed on the white-tailed deer and also on small mammals.
This year I'm really excited that we actually have 27 different scientists here at the museum that will be working with our high school students this year. 60 students had the opportunity to join the lab of one of our scientists for a year-long mentoring opportunity. Our high school students get to go into the big bone room as part of their preparatory classwork. They get to go into the entomology collection, ornithology collection. They're all over the museum and all those secret little nooks and crannies that the public doesn't get to see. So are all these tarantulas, or are they spiders more broadly?
No, these are tarantulas.
Okay.
All of them?
Sure, these are all theraphosid spiders. This happens to be a female, and this happens to be the male.
I really did become a science lover to the point that I went to school every day telling my friends, oh, I did this, I did that. And they were just getting tired of me because I was talking a lot about all the stuff I was doing here at the museum.
So our students, after having completed 75 hours of after-school coursework, and then another 100 hours in our Shrimp Summer Institute, then do 100 hours of independent research, they're understanding how to interpret this information and then disseminate it the way scientists really do. Posters, oral presentations, and papers. So they are not just practicing to be scientists, they are acting as scientists.
A lot of our students, they actually get co-published on papers. They go to national conferences and present on the work because they're doing real work.
I really love the black-legged tick, like how they look, their characteristics, where they were found, why they were there, and how they moved, and their gene coding was also amazing. Science wasn't really an interest for me until I came here. It really opened up doors for me that I didn't know was possible. And I learned so much that I really do want to pursue a career in science.
In our programs for high school youth, more than 80% are at risk. We have 100% graduation rate from high school, and all of them go to college.
I think it's important that the museum offers these opportunities to students because one may not like science, but I feel that if they are given the opportunity to at least try it, they will develop an interest for it.
In a world which is so virtually driven, the power of the real thing still is the best.
So this is bear fur.
That's so fluffy.
American Graduate Day is a live, nationwide outreach event.
Education is our mission at WSRE.
We are very proud to be a part of American Graduate Day.
Together, we are making a difference. Let's make it happen.
Ready, Jet, go!
Jet Propulsion, that's his name.
Hi, I'm Craig Bartlett.
And I'm Amy Meinzer, and it's really great to be part of American Graduate Day.
We have a great new show for you called Ready, Jet, Go. It's a kid's first space show with an astronomy and earth science curriculum, and it premieres President's Day 2016 on PBS.
I first got interested in astronomy when I was 6 years old, when I looked up Andromeda in an encyclopedia.
And I'm old enough to remember the space program when we raced the Russians to the moon. Mercury, Gemini, Apollo.
This show's got a great science curriculum. It covers the solar system, the planets, and everything in our galaxy.
There's a lot of songs on Ready, Jet, Go. This is a song about asteroids, and so Amy's wearing an asteroid hat for the occasion. And it goes, asteroid, thank you, face. You gave us the answer about the rocks from space. We're over the moon. We're overjoyed. Because now we know all about the asteroids.
From a new PBS Kids show on outer space, we move now to two leading figures in the cutting-edge exploration of inner space, the great frontier of the genome. Hi, everyone. I'm Rebecca Jarvis, and I'm back with you again to address the importance of STEAM subjects to young students. And here with me now are Dr. Neil Lamb, Vice President for Educational Outreach, and his colleague, Dr. Elizabeth Worthy. She's the Director of Informatics, both from the Hudson Alpha Institute of Biotechnology in Huntsville, Alabama. And we thank you so much for being with us. And I want to start with you, Dr. Lamb. Tell us about what the Hudson Alpha Institute is and what you're doing.
Hudson Alpha is this really unique blend of world-class genomic researchers studying the impact of our DNA instructions on humans, on animals, on other organisms. And in the same space, you have this unique mix of multiple biotechnology companies. So you take the science that's being done by the researchers, and you have a way to actually turn it into applications that improve life. And then in the same space, there's a clinic that we're opening that's actually helping treat and diagnose unidentified diseases, and an education program that creates a more genetically literate society and builds the future workforce for the field of biotech and genetics.
So not any really significant objectives with
Just
what you're trying to do.
everyday kind of
Exactly.
life.
Everyday stuff.
Exactly.
No, you're doing huge things, and a core of that, as you just said, is education. And in particular, targeting education towards children and helping children to see all of these very complex things, but see their application in everyday life.
That's right. If we can find ways to take what is often a dry or really complicated subject and put it in everyday language and make it relevant and engaging, we can find ways to talk about how genetics impacts whether you can taste broccoli in a way that you like or not, or why does drinking a soda or coffee make you jittery. If we can tie it back to everyday life and tell exciting stories, kids understand why they need to know this, but also it opens up a whole set of career fields to say, ooh, I like that. Let me learn more about that. I'd like to go into that field.
Dr. Worthy, you're a scientist. What inspired you to become a scientist in the early stages?
No, there were many different things that happened to me as a child. So I had a great science teacher who everybody thought was a little crazy, but he was really good at engaging the kids. It made it interesting and fun. We all looked forward to his class. I also used to love on TV back home in Scotland, they used to have Christmas lectures. And these were lectures by prominent scientists, but they were targeted towards kids, again, really hands-on and fun. And then I also got to go and visit the local university when I was a kid and do DNA prep from a piece of fruit, from a banana. And, you know, all of those things together really kept me being a scientist. So I think all children are scientists, and some people fall away and find other loves, and I was always a scientist, and those kept me engaged.
It's all about keeping kids engaged, keeping that initial spark of interest, and great teachers can do that. Great educational programs can do that. We were talking a moment ago, and you said your 4-year-old daughter says that she's a scientist, which applies because all kids are.
Yeah, and she says, I'm a scientist, all children are. It's all about trying to learn every day and work out how things work. That's what she tells me. It makes me very proud.
Dr. Lamb, tell us about some of the programs that you're working on to help kids see the interest in all of these topics.
We have a whole host of activities that we've put together, from hands-on experiences in a classroom that tie what's going on in the textbook or in what the state says you have to cover about science. We run a whole series of middle school camps. One of them is called I Want to Wear a Lab Coat. that is about careers in the field that they can begin to think about as they get older. We have short courses in the summer that talk about specific topics like synthetic biology. We run summer intern programs. And then we try to find ways to engage kids with digital media. We have an app that's been downloaded. It's free 1.4 million times. It's called iCell, and it's all about the inner workings of the cell. And we've just created an entire experience about how do you help keep a crew healthy on a 20-year mission to a moon of Neptune. The game's called Touching Triton, and it's all about how do you take real-world genetic data and try to determine what risks of disease are and solve those problems to keep people healthy for the next 20 years.
And we've heard the data before. This country is unfortunately falling behind, significantly behind in a lot of these jobs. And unfortunately, women and young women are disproportionately involved in this space. And you yourself have probably seen that throughout your career and even in classroom experiences.
I have. So back when I was still in the Scottish equivalent of high school, I was told that I probably shouldn't take all three sciences, physics, chemistry, and biology together.
You were told that?
I was, and it turned out from talking to other people in my class that none of the boys that were wanting to do it had been told the same thing. So that was kind of an early experience. I ignored it. I took them all anyway.
What made you do that? I always wonder about this because when you see the stories, the women who persevered in spite of their surroundings, I always wonder, what was it? Was it your parents? Was it a teacher?
I think a lot of it was the experiences growing up that led to a belief in me that I could do things. It's a question I've asked myself as I have children now, and I try and work out how do I instill that in them? How can I make them truly believe that they can do whatever they want to? It's something that I'm working on.
And what do you find is the most effective tool for that?
I think it's both the positive encouragement, but I think, and Neil and I were talking about this on the drive to here, that some of it is letting them go and try things. Let them try things, for them learn how to fail, but also learn how to succeed. And even since then, during my training, I also had many other times where people told me that I couldn't do it because I was a woman, but I did it, and women can.
And here you are, sharing that message with so many, and here's Hudson Alpha doing exactly that as well, helping train the next generation of Dr. Worthies. I wonder also about the genome, and it hasn't been all that long since we first mapped the genome. What do you see as the biggest scientific achievement since that point?
So I think the access to the information in the genome is going to fundamentally change healthcare, and it's going to change healthcare in the US and around the world. There's a lot of information that can be used by the medical teams in the genome, and so I think this is one of the big developments.
How about you, Dr. Lamb?
I would agree. I think the access to the information, one of the challenges is the sequencing of the human genome gave us the first read, but we all vary in a relatively small number of ways, but we vary. So we have to figure out how much do we vary, and when we find differences, is that just part of the beautiful variation that we find in humanity, or is that something that is clinically or biologically relevant? And we're at this stage now where this is really similar to putting together a 1,000-piece puzzle. And if you can imagine, we have the puzzle on the floor in front of us, and I've actually only given you 200 pieces. And I've said, okay, what does the puzzle actually look like finished? I haven't given you enough pieces. And researchers like Dr. Worthy and researchers at Hudson Alpha and around the world are putting more pieces on the floor, so then we can truly make a difference in understanding what that means for human health and for the environment and for food supply and all those other things.
And to any young person in particular who is hearing about this puzzle, who wants to be a part of it, who wants to solve it, put a piece on the table. You're here. There are others like you, Dr. Worthy, Dr. Lamb, who are out there. Find the teacher if you don't have one. I think that's the reality now, that it partially comes down to the student, but it also comes down to organizations like Hudson Alpha to make it happen. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Well, it's hard to imagine a career opportunity much more challenging and exciting than that, really, for anyone, and we thank both of you for being with us. Here's wishing all the best to your future research and educational research. One of the richest rewards in the scientific process is making an unexpected discovery where everything seems to come together and make sense. That eureka moment, if you will. And from Eureka, California, our next American champion strives every day to help his students experience just such a moment.
Homework Hotline is a live TV program on KEAT Channel 13 where students can call in their math and science questions, and in between those questions we do fun demonstrations in math and science. I think the reason that it's important for students to watch Homework Hotline is number one, that they see other people have questions on their homework, and number two is we do some fun demonstrations with math and science.
Ken brings so much more to Homework Hotline just because of his enthusiasm and interest in science and math that he supports all of us so that we can all do a much better job when we get callers. Ken does amazing things like brings in his own Van de Graaff generator to produce static electricity as a demonstration for students to really see how static electricity works.
I love teaching math and science because I love the hands-on part of it, where kids actually get to manipulate things or physical activities that let them understand a little bit more about their world.
Ken has this amazing magic about him where he can draw out people to investigate science and math in a way that they may not be comfortable doing.
The most important part of Homework Hotline for me is that we show that math and science is doable, that a lot of the activities and demonstrations that we do and the way that we answer questions show that kids can answer, that science isn't just in the classroom or in the textbook, it's everywhere.
It is everywhere. Ken Pinkerton put it just right. Science is everywhere, and with it, many great career opportunities. That might not have sounded too enticing in the past to young girls, but thanks to a new camp program at LSU, that old mindset is now changing for the better. Its name, Project Excite.
And so that would be how you do a construction site survey. So if I want to fly...
Observing the complexities of drone operation is just one of a dozen activities these high school girls enjoy as part of a unique program at Louisiana State University.
We are the only program in Louisiana that houses a young women residential camp for students to engage in the field of engineering.
Terica Jameson is the assistant recruiting manager for LSU's College of Engineering. She's also director of its summer program called Excite, the exploration camp inspiring tomorrow's engineers.
The goal of Excite is to really educate students, young women, into the field of engineering. We have 11 degree majors within our College of Engineering at LSU. Students have the opportunity to tour the campus, stay in a residential dorm, participate in professional development opportunities, as well as engage in conversation and experiments with some of our professors and staff.
The camp is in its 7th year at LSU and allows 9th through 11th grade girls to participate in a week of hands-on engineering activities. The hope is to encourage enrollment in one of the university's science, technology, engineering, and math or STEM degree programs. U.S. labor statistics show that while women make up 47% of the country's total workforce, they hold less than 28% of STEM jobs. Adam Melvin teaches Excite's chemical engineering session.
So traditionally, engineering has been dominated by males, mostly Caucasian males. And so programs like Excite are wonderful because they are purposely designed to increase diversity in engineering. We want to bring in people from traditionally underrepresented minorities, especially females.
For junior Lelia DeVille, peer pressure is a strong deterrent to girls who want to enter a science career.
If you're interested in that, people, they like to pick on you and they like to, you're a nerd, you're just lame. Nobody wants to be friends with you. If you get good grades, it's like, you don't do that. This is high school, you should be having a good time and partying.
For minority women who hold fewer than 10% of science and engineering jobs, lack of knowledge about the fields may be the culprit. Derek Riveras is LSU's Vice Provost for Diversity.
When we look at underrepresented minorities, there are tons of studies that have shown that just an exposure to the options will make a difference. That many times they don't even know that our careers, for instance, nuclear engineering or electrical engineering or mechanical, they don't even conceive of those as options.
Excite campers get a taste of 11 engineering fields, including petrochemical, biological, electrical, and mechanical. For 9th grader Kylie Hankton McCurry, the program's been an eye-opener.
This experience has made me realize that there's more to science. Like, there's so many levels to it. Like, it's fun now. They've made me see that this is something that I could do for the rest of my life, engineering.
Thanks to the camp, Kylie's now debating a career in industrial engineering or construction management, but she enjoyed the computer science simulation the most.
It was a model of a car, and we got to get in it and we got to test it, and it was so fun. Some of us couldn't drive. I could drive, but some of us couldn't drive, so that made it even more fun.
10th grader Darielle Mitchell liked Excite's hands-on aspect.
I like the part when we get to touch and know and see and try new things.
Darielle's family was uprooted by Hurricane Katrina in 2005.
I had to go to a new school in Atlanta, it's different places I'd never been, so it's I had to adapt to. So it was kind of weird. I had to get over it.
After attending 3 different schools and surviving a house fire, Darielle returned with her family to Louisiana to pursue her passion for a college degree.
I wanted to be successful in my life, and if that means going to college to be successful, then that's what I have to do.
Because of the camp, Darielle has decided to work as a biological engineer. Rivera says dreams like Darielle's won't happen unless students are engaged early on.
That kind of goal will never happen if you don't receive a college degree, and that college degree won't happen if you don't receive a high school degree. That high school degree won't happen if you don't buckle down and study your biology.
Corporate sponsors like Fluor, one of the world's largest engineering companies, see the value of helping to keep students like Darielle on track towards a college degree. Pam Jackson, an LSU graduate, now works for Fluor and attends the camp as a mentor.
The importance of STEM careers is going to be exemplified during the 21st century, and the ability to promote graduates into STEM professions really is going to lead to future innovators, future problem solvers, and critical thinkers.
The girls' problem-solving skills were on display during the week as teams designed robots for an underwater rescue and recovery competition. On the camp's final day, the event delivered lots of drama and submerged suspense. But ultimately, no real losers. As Lilia notes, the entire Excite experience has strengthened her interest in science even more.
Now I know it may make me lame now, but down the road, I'm gonna have a stable job, I'm gonna be loving what I do, and I'm gonna make enough money to support my family.
I bet she will. Well, once again, we'd like to thank our friends at Louisiana Public Broadcasting for that story. Now from our southern coast to our western one, we're going to visit the Ocean Discovery Institute in San Diego. Through a series of programs for underserved youth, they teach students science through nature. Working with some 6,000 students per year, they offer rigorous education programs through hands-on activities that teach both science and conservation.
Most kids like ours don't get real science in school. Not a lot of these students even think about going to college. In these neighborhoods, you don't become a scientist. But you know what? I did.
In classroom, we were looking at plankton through a microscope, and we were also doing DNA samples.
Okay, so we're gonna do halfway, we're gonna suck in our sample, and then we're gonna come around here to our electrophoresis machine. Remember, and we're gonna practice putting it in the well.
Daniel is generally confident, but he went from being pretty shy in the beginning of the year to he's the teacher at his table. He's confident enough to be outspoken and say, this is what I think we should do, this is how I think we should do it.
It makes you feel proud of yourself, learning about new habitats. It makes me really smart, and I would probably think of myself as a scientist.
Swan Canyon was one of the big major projects that I started getting into and helped restore dramatically. It was like a dump. Like you would barely walk in, there would be like trash everywhere. The grass was like invasive plants everywhere. They showed me a before picture of 2007 and a picture of it now. It's like, you wouldn't even believe it's the same canyon.
The good thing about field-based learning is that because you have to figure it out yourself, you can remember in a much better way rather than just reading from a simple textbook. I've worked with sea turtles, I've worked with professors and actual scientists in conducting this research, so it's made me more of a leader because you feel like you're actually making a difference in the world too, just like they are. That was a whole new experience for me.
I came from Ethiopia. Science is important because not everybody think about science. And then for me, being a female and going in that field, I want that people to see that, oh, if she can do it, I'll do it too.
Ocean Discovery Institute was my spark. It taught me so much about myself and what I'm capable of, and it showed me that becoming a scientist was also possible for someone like me.
It's really important in public education that we come together as an entire community to have collective impact. And Ocean Discovery is a model for how that can happen across not just our city, our state, but our nation.
The Ocean Discovery Institute model is very important for the nation. And a testament to this is the recent presidential award in excellence that ODI received. And we are committed to partner with ODI and bring whatever resources we can in assisting the replication of the model in other areas in the U.S.
So many incredible conversations taking place here today. And as we conclude this hour on the importance of a STEAM education, we're happy to announce that with the addition of over 1 million American graduate champions from 4-H, our total number of champions has risen to more than 3.7 million. That is amazing. Almost 1 million more than when we identified this program last year. Now, Lauren Wanko is ready to introduce us to another American graduate champion whose journey will be celebrated on film. Lauren.
Robert Lee Henderson III from the documentary All the Difference is with us right now. We watched you graduate from high school and college despite dealing with extremely difficult situations growing up. What was it like?
So growing up on the south side of Chicago, it was not an easy task. Being exposed at a young age to violence, drugs, sex, it's been really rough, and it made a lot of obstacles really hard for me just to graduate from high school and college.
What or who inspired you to succeed and stay on the right path?
So my inspiration was my grandmother because she raised me, my 3 brothers, my 3 sisters, also her own 4 sons in one household. So growing up, we didn't really have much, and my grandmother had to work a lot just to keep food on the table. So I owe it to her just to keep pushing for it. Too.
After college, you became an AmeriCorps member and then a teacher.
Yeah, so after college, I told myself if I make it out of the neighborhood, which is Inglewood, I will give a good portion of my life back to the community. So I joined City Year, which is a non-for-profit organization that seek out young leaders like myself that goes into school that where schools have low attendance rate, low test scores rate, and help improve those scores.
And now you're making a difference.
Yes, ma'am.
Quickly tell us, what do you want the takeaway message to be for those who watch your film?
So the number one message I want the people to take away is always be resilient. It's not how you start. It's not how you start. It's how you finish. Don't let your zip code or your community determine your future.
Well, thank you for sharing your very inspiring story. And for those of you at home, we want to hear your inspiring stories. So make sure to follow American Graduate on Facebook and Twitter and #AmGrad.
Our next story is about an educator planting seeds in an urban food desert and harvesting a bumper crop of benefits. I'm Jane Pauling. Stephen Ritz and his Green Bronx machine are opening young minds to science, nutrition, and wellness.
For many communities, education is the priority. For the children of the community that we serve here at CS 55, education is a fourth priority. For them, safety comes first, shelter, and food. Then they can focus on education.
The Bronx, unfortunately, is the unhealthiest county in the entire state of New York. The Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, for 4 years or 5 years in a row, has found that out of 62 counties, we're dead last. High rates of obesity, diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, et cetera, et cetera.
Our children have become accustomed to putting things in their bodies with preservatives, too much sugar, too many things that does not allow them to function the way they need to function inside of the classroom.
The obstacles that these children face, be it drugs, poorly maintained streets, overcrowded housing, rampant unemployment, chronic disease, obesity, are insurmountable.
When I met Steve Ritz about 4 or 5 years ago, Steve Ritz was putting gardens together in different communities. I said to myself, you know what, that's somebody I need to get in contact with.
Hi, Mom. Good morning, sweetie. Hi, Mom. Good morning. Every day when I walk through that door and I see some little kid smiling, or some kid with a question, or some kid wanting to plant a seed, that moves me to do something greater. So we've got all kinds of seeds, but guess what? They all make plants, and seeds are like people. They come in all sizes, shapes, and colors.
The Green Bronx Machine is a very interesting program.
When you teach kids where their food comes from, how to grow it, that a seed well planted can give you a crop of epic proportions, that's game-changing, not only in their personal life, in their academic life, and in their aspiration. We got some basil, I have some lettuce, I have some spinach, and in the least likely place to grow food, in the least likely community to have access to it, we are generating healthy school performance and growing happy, healthy, well-adjusted kids. We're proud to use Tower Garden technology. And what we do with that technology is go from a box that weighs 15 pounds to a garden. What's gonna come through this tube in the middle? Water. And where's it gonna go? Up, up, up. It's gonna come into the top, and then when it comes out of the top, it's gonna hit this and do what? Go down, 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 down. We're gonna go like this, boom. Boom, see how it snapped right in? Here we go. Get them in, put the peppers at the bottom. I've planted more than anybody. When kids take care of their plants and understand the values and fluctuations of pH and chemical imbalances in the water, they start really grasping why certain things like too many sugar-sweetened beverages are dangerous for them. So really what I'm growing is awareness. 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 7 is 49.
Students are starting to realize that there's mathematics in farming and gardening. For example, when they do the pH levels of the water.
That's so cool.
Or they're measuring a plant.
This is about 3.5.
Okay, but just look how dangerous that is.
The students like science. The students are engaged with science. Let's have science be the engagement for the math and literacy work that we're trying to accomplish. One of the immediate results that we have is an increase in attendance rate. Students want to come to school because they're doing all this exciting stuff.
It's really fun because I get to grow plants, and the best part is getting to cook it and eat it.
Whoa. When kids learn that plants are living, breathing things just like they are, they tend to respect nature and themselves and their environment better and more, and they learn that they are part of a greater interconnected society. And my job is to create a rainforest, if you will. And most importantly, a program like this moves children from being bottom-end consumers to producers. And when you move children from being consumers to producers, you change their outlook on life and you change their orientation to life.
My mom makes really good salad, but I have to tell her about this one.
What gets me incredibly jazzed about this program in particular is that there is a strategic vision for changing these kids' lives and changing, by extension, the communities where they live.
If we build this farm out, we can then provide foods to the community and start to change the mindset of the community through our school.
What you do in 4 walls can be pushed as far out into the community as possible, and you can bring the community in. 2, 3. And that's what this is about. 1, 2, 3.